Hello everyone, this is Jeral Rodriguez, Customer Success Manager at DeFiner, and your host for this, your DeFiner Live Twitter space, where we talk about the latest updates and everything DeFiner, who we are, why we do what we do, what we're doing to give you the best DeFi experience in the industry. This space is a place where we not only talk about DeFiner's current developments and future plans, but also, and most importantly, this is a place where DeFiners can connect with each other, with our team, with the broader DeFi and crypto community. This is a space for you. For those who are joining us now during the live session or who will join us after, we want to start by saying both welcome and thank you. Great to have you in this conversation, and thank you for being a part of this wonderful community. So before we dive into our conversation for today, we want to remind all of you that we will have an open floor section right after our special guest's remarks today. So please keep your questions, comments, or remarks in mind. This session is also being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. So for those who are joining us after the live event, please post your questions and opinion in the comment section below. Again, this is a space for everyone, and we would certainly love to hear from you. Now, we're going to wait a little bit for a few minutes to make sure that our special guest joins and other people into this conversation. Hello, can you hear me okay?
Hey, Jeral, yes, I can hear you good.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jason. I already did a little bit of an intro, so we can wait a couple of minutes if you want so we can get started, or we can get started right away. Up to you.
It's up to you. I'm good either way.
Okay, perfect. So, let's wait one more minute and get started, okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Today, I am pleased to be with Jason Wu, co-founder and CEO of DeFiner. And yeah, it's been a while since the last time we had you live with us, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Jeral?
I'm doing well. It's pretty cold where I am right now, but still bearing with it, and yeah. So it's good to have you. Good to have you with us in this space. As I mentioned earlier, the space will be recorded also and posted on our YouTube channel, so that everyone can listen to you and participate, and so in one way or another. So I think for starters, Jason, we'd like to give an update to our community about what's happening right now in terms of the HODLer market. It's something that we've been developing over the past few months and years, I guess. So can you give our community an update on the HODLer market and what's been happening in the product development side, and what can we expect in the coming weeks and months?
I think the overall crypto market, everyone knows, is in the bear market. Also, it's been through the deleveraging. Like in the bull market, typically people either borrow money to buy crypto, or there are new money inflow to the industry, to the space. That's why how the bubble formed, and that's the typical bull market. But for the bear market, typically there's already enough people, they put money in this space, has been through like 2 years. So there's not that much of new flight capital in the space. Then the whales start to cash out, and then people make less money, then they become loss, and then they cannot repay their loans. And this whole process is no different from the traditional financial market. It's called deleveraging. I think we are in this process almost a year, and I expect this process will continue go through probably for another half year. Also, because we already see a lot big players went bankrupt, like FTX, Celsius, Warrior, all those like BlockFi, those all the big players in this whole process. But I think long term speaking, it's just a cycle, right? It's like a leverage build up, then a bubble become, then the deleveraging process. It's a tough process. I think it's impact a lot of people, and a lot of people will leave this space because they actually don't have that much belief in this industry, and also a lot projects, capitals, exchange, they are laying off people or they go bankrupt. So the overall cost actually of the industry will be lower during the bear market. Also, the leverage in this market will be become much less. And I think after we've been through this deleveraging process, then the new capital will start to come in, especially those big capitals. They saw the opportunity to consolidate the players in this space, and then that will combine the Bitcoin halving, like 1.5 year away. So I'm expecting we will still go through the deleveraging for another half year after the typically after like March, April, the taxation season ending in the US, and then the market condition will be much stronger than right now. But I think right now is a tough time. From industry wise, because that shakes a lot of people's confidence to the industry, especially those people who holding money, like the investors. And but we've been through this cycle several times. After each cycle, the total number of people in this space just increase exponentially. So I don't see this time is different from last few times. So that's kind of just the overall from the industry perspective. Regarding that to DeFiner is for sure is part of that, and people lose the confidence to the centralized players, either in lending or in exchange. I think for the next cycle, both like institutions like ventures and retail investors, they will have more confidence in decentralized finance, self-custody, and that's for sure will drive the usage in this space. Also, after several years build, the user experience for DeFi will be improved, and that will be ready for the next bull market. So I'm confident that the decentralized finance related service will boom for the next bull run, and as long as they can survive during this bear market. So that's kind of just my overall perspective about the current market conditions.
Thank you. It's what you said about it's a cycle, and we're going through this now, and we've gone through that before. But more and more, you see how people are staying in the industry. Like overall, the users are growing, and maybe this is a time to kind of sift and filter out those who are not really serious or don't provide that utility, perhaps in the market, or basically like survival of the fittest kind of thing. But I've heard that as well in the market in general, how DeFi has proved to be the way to go, especially with everything that's happening with CeFi and big players kind of melting down with and not having that transparency. And in terms of what's happening, right? You mentioned that we're going through a very rough patch, the whole crypto industry. What is that really has that impacted DeFiner in some way and its ecosystem? And if so, how? What do you think about that and how that is impacting DeFiner?
Yeah, so for DeFiner, we recently launched the beta version of HODLer market, and to speak about the impact, it's all very obvious. Like during the bull market, there are more projects coming and launch tokens, launch their products, and they get fund from ventures. They are eager to do marketing, and HODLer market is very good tool for them to increase their utility of their tokens, also increase the behavior holding of their tokens. So in the bull market, I think there's the demand for HODLer market is just there, and but compare right now, all the project what they are doing is just either they are laying off people, shutting down the project, they don't have funds, they don't want to do marketing, and so it's naturally there's not that much customers from the hot market, which is DeFiner's core business right now perspective. That's for sure is an impact to us. But from another angle, the hot market is still in beta version. We are not that 100% ready. There's it's still running in a beta stage, which is gives us enough time to make the product perfect and to be fit for the market and make this very good tool for the future. So I think that's the major impact to DeFiner, which is majorly from customer acquisition perspective.
Okay, no, that makes sense. You mentioned something about deleveraging too, so perhaps that ties into the role of the HODLer market, especially like in the bear market, but how the DeFiner is preparing for when the bulls come, and how that's going to help build projects, build communities, and have a positive impact. But as you said, now we're in a cycle, and it's we're on the trough, I guess, of that cycle at the moment. And speaking of which, I don't know, the events that are happening in the whole industry that you mentioned with FTX and others that have let's say fallen. What do you think the repercussions will have? What will be the repercussions moving forward, right? Because you mentioned the cycle about it started about a year ago, and then it'll continue for the next few months, 6 months or so. But like in the big scheme of things, like what do you think will be the repercussions now that those institutions that people trusted, right, or they thought that they were being compliant, now it's total disaster.
I think those people like the big institutions failed. I don't really think they are part of this space called contributors, because in this space there are projects, right, like really building the technology, use the blockchain technology to building the services, either the blockchain level, layer 1 level, or the app, or GameFi. Those are all the builders. And another group of people is like people or institutions who want to make money out of those builders, which they provide services to their customers, and but they just try to make money, right? I don't consider they are really the Web3 builders, but more like Web2, like the general business who want to make money, right? What is different from other industry is in this space there's not that much regulation, so those institutions become very wide. Their strategies, like in this wild west, there's no regulation. So that's kind of the human, natural instinct. They need to take more risk, bet big, lack of risk management, because there's no one regulate them, right? So they do whatever they think they can make more money, and eventually we see the collapse of those business. Actually, it's a very bad image for this whole space. Actually, but they are not actually the contributor or builders in this space. But for the retail or for the general public, what they know is, oh, they are crypto business. But actually, you think about those exchange, like they are not crypto business, right? They just run a exchange and or lending. That's typically normal like Web 2 business, not Web 3. But for general public, they just don't know that, right? They are aware of FTX as crypto exchange, like BlockFi, and those institutions and crypto business. So I think the impact is huge because that's the perception from the general public. I mean, it's hard to recover that in a short period of time. That's why I think it will take a while, and but eventually, when the bull market comes, that's usually the general public regain the interest and take more time and learn and study this space. But that's how the cycle keep going, right? Like when the market goes down, they lose interest, they put it away. But when the market came back, they all think, oh, those people make more money. Bitcoin goes higher and higher, and they want to make money. They will jump and come in, and at that time there are new players will come. So I think it just cycle, and all this negative impact of those players, I think eventually will be gone because the service of the Web3 is keep going, and actually compare last cycle, you can see the growth of all the Web3 related service, especially DeFi, and has grown a lot. Also the reliability has been much better than before. So I think in DeFi or related service, we still have a topic not resolved, which is how can we prevent hiking, and how can we give users more confidence of putting their money in the smart contract. I think after we resolve these questions, a DeFi service has superior, the centralized service cannot compete, which is the transparency. And this transparency and self-custodian is superior to the centralized crypto business, and more important is superior to the overall financial system, which is the traditional financial business. I'm sure that's beyond the crypto industry, right? We have a bigger cycle in the overall financial space, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot bad debt. There's a lot companies they don't have a good balance sheet, just like FTX, but it just no one knows. I mean, if something goes the overall financial market goes deleveraging, that's eventually will be found by the newspaper, by other people, which is coming through for the next year. And I think things will be tough for both the crypto business and the overall market. But I think I'm pretty sure after 1 or 2 years things will go back to normal.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jason. I think that's a very good insight. From that, first of all, knowing the overall market, macro, and how we're in a tough spot right now, especially with everything that's occurring after, the global health crisis, and now how it affected different markets, not just crypto, as you said, but the stock market, the real estate industry, everything, and the financial sector, obviously, that's in the middle of all of it. So something I really like about what you said, Jason, about the builders, the real contributors, I think this is something that people should keep in mind, right? Like, who are the actual builders and contributors, Web3 projects, founders, communities that are actually backing this industry and wanting to move forward? I think you made a really good distinction there between, CeFi and DeFi, and between Web2 disguised as Web3, and really like actual Web3 institutions that and that are they're sticking around, that are wanting to see this space flourish. So I think that's very important. That what you mentioned there, and your outlook, right? What's coming in the next 1 or 2 years? That it's and going back to the cycle. So I think you responded one of the questions that I had about DeFi and CeFi. I think you mentioned about how DeFi is superior to CeFi once a few tweaks are made, of course, and obviously it's an evolving sector, right, within Web3. I just want to say, Jason, that I remember I've been in the space for almost 7 years now, and DeFi has come a long way. It's definitely improved, and the user experience is a lot better than what it was even a couple of years ago. So in terms of, you mentioned something very interesting, Jason, that perhaps we can touch upon it a little bit, kind of see what you have to say. But with all these unfortunate events happening, right, in the industry, people have eyes in this industry, particularly in DeFi, and especially the regulators, right? You mentioned lawmakers, regulators now with all the unfortunate events having an eye on this. So, let's be frank, some people actually want to shut down decentralized finance. And I want to just get your take on, that. Is it possible? Is it like, what do you think will happen in terms of regulation? What do you think the future of DeFi will be?
I think this overall space needs regulation for sure. It just need to figure out the right way of the regulation. What I see is in this space, there's a two trend. Like for those tech companies, startups, they want to build the base layer, which is as decentralized as possible, as open as possible. Which means they want to make it general public goods. What does that mean? They want to make it become just like the internet, right? Like it's just a tool. There's criminals using that. There's other people use good. Mostly it's good people using that, but it's just the internet. Everyone has access to it. It's just internet. Also, they don't hold other people's fund in custodian. They try to make it an open infrastructure level, the software or the public available open source software. I think that's the trend of DeFi, which is make it as base layer as possible. Just make it become a financial internet, and but on top of that, and which is UI or application. And as part like with KYC, those things, and people, the regulators which they enforce and require, they can implement, right? Like, but it's just more like we build the DeFi, decentralized finance, build the financial internet. But on top of the internet, there are so many services available, which is more centralized. They have centralized around the server. They need to be take care of users' fund, and for example, the banks, right? Even they can use DeFi, but between DeFi and the end users, probably there is some middle person, and which is the banks or other financial institutions, and all the global payment system, right? SWIFT, the consumers actually don't really interact with SWIFT, and they interact that through the banks. And I don't think there's not much difference, right? Like DeFi can be the base layer, which between DeFi and the end users, there's a middle person, but still in this way, this middle person the cost and the responsibility of this middle person, like compared to traditional finance, is already be lowered. Like they have less responsibility that they can the running their service is much lower cost, and but in this way those middle persons should be fully compliant, but not the DeFi. Like DeFi is just pure technology, pure internet, and you don't see any government to regulate internet right now, right?
Right. No, it makes sense. I really like how you put it in terms of the internet and the applications building on top of it, and how DeFi is very like similar to that, like providing those tools. It's pretty interesting. Hopefully, our community can have that kind of visual example, right, of what's happening. So no, thank you, Jason, for the insight. Before I just have a few questions in terms of what's happening, going back to what happened with the market and the reason why FTX, the fall of FTX and all that. And we know as well that the DeFiner protocol has been going through some challenges with regards to liquidity, the savings contract. We've had a conversation about that a few Twitter Spaces ago. So just wanted to update the community in terms of what DeFiner is currently doing, right, to solve this liquidity issue, and what are the plans for preventing these types of issues from occurring, like moving forward. I think that this would be important for the community to kind of get an update on that.
Yeah, so for the liquidity issues, it's happened because of the Oracle attack, and actually solving that problem, we need money, because but the overall dollar value we need is not that huge, like FTX. I think it's around like $500,000, and those issues will be resolved. So it's more like there's a bad debt on the platform, and someone need to take care of the bad debt. That's it. So either the community propose either the fin token holders take the bad debt, which means they just disperse fin token holders to the user affected. I think the liquidity of fin token is pretty low. I don't think that's really have that much. But what I really propose is like launch the HODLer market, make it successful, and grow the market cap of the HODLer market. Eventually, those $500,000 will be made back. Then, with that proceed, you can pay back the bad debt. I think that's just the overall strategy, which is focus on promoting, developing the HODLer market, make it very useful, and grow the ecosystem, and make the protocol more profitable, then repay back the bad debt loans on the savings protocol.
Okay, that's interesting. So going with the HODLer market, right, can help solve this liquidity issue. And can anyone, participate in building DeFiner, like, and building the HODLer market?
Yeah, for sure. Like the HODLer market is open to anyone to open, right? Like it's just like the Uniswap pool for trading. It's just like anyone can open a pool for lending and holding and staking and lending. So anyone actually, when there's a demand for borrowing and lending, and any project, they can come and build a pool on top of that HODLer market.
Okay, well, you heard it, DeFiners, that you can also contribute to the growth of DeFiner and the HODLer market, because when if it grows, like we all grow together as a community. One last question, Jason, about DeFiner. Now, though, that's a good segue for this last question. Speaking of HODLer market, the DeFiner ecosystem, and also tying it back to what we spoke of, DeFi in the whole sector. So, what do you think is the role of DeFiner in the growth of DeFi or the DeFi sector, in your opinion?
At DeFiner, we always want to find the market fit, because in overall DeFi, there's sections, and we belong to the section of lending, which is, eventually is a banking sector. So there's already big players, and they take all the the high market cap tokens. I think more important is how can we enable any tokens, right, to have a collateral, staking and lending pool, and I think that's our unique positions right now, which we don't see. There's a dominant market players right now. I think that's an opportunity. Also, that's our approach is how can we provide pay it's more similar to traditional banking service, but we cannot call it banking service. But it's how can we take care of salary payment and the store of your savings and fund finance, and for those either small business, which is all the projects, to provide them credit whenever they need, and which use their equity, which not called equity, but their token as collateral to borrow money. I think that's the kind of unique market fit we find, and which still not be provided by any other project. And then we want to be the dominant players in this space, which is provide credit to those small cap tokens. So I think we want to specialize in this space. That's why through the experience we have for the past several years, we understand how to run a small cap market token lending pool. Also, how to use the risk parameter to control the risk of that lending pool, and to ensure that the creditor, which is the capital provider, is safe, but at the same time they can earn good returns. So that's kind of our approach, and how we want to contribute to be part of this big DeFi ecosystem.
Oh, perfect. I think that we have a DeFiner great ambitions, and also first of all weather the storms, especially now in the cycle. But moving forward and overall, what I hear is being a dominant player in DeFi lending / borrowing, because of the functionalities, the experience, the preparation that we have at DeFiner, the DeFiner protocol and how it is structured. So thank you, Jason. I would like to say that if we'll open the floor for questions as well, and comments or questions. I see that we have China here as well. If you have something to say or to ask, just make a reaction and I'll invite you to speak. But if not, that's okay. I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you so much for being here, all of you. As I said earlier, this session is being recorded and will be available for you on Twitter and later on our YouTube channel. So, go on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And for those who out there who are joining us later, feel free to contact us to find ways to collaborate and add value to our communities. And Jason mentioned the HODLer market. Via the HODLer market and all the features that it brings to your project. So we'll be posting some resources for you in the description below about our discussion today, so you can stay in the know. And if you want to stay current with the latest DeFiner updates, keep in touch with us. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram community, Discord communities, and you can find the links in our social medias and our Twitter profile in the description below. So, Jason, again, thank you so much for being here, for your insights, your comments. They're very valuable for me and for our community, and for even partners that we'll be sharing this with later on. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Jeral.
All right, welcome. Well, stay tuned and for more updates. And until next time, Jeral out. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.